Okay, good evening. Welcome to Bensalem Township Council meeting, January 14th. We can start with a moment of silence, a meditation, and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Before we get started, Mr. Pizzo, is there anything on, any changes to the agenda this evening?
Yes, Mr. Knowles, item number 9, which is the hearing for the rezoning of the, St. Catherine Drexel property from institutional to R2. As council will recall, that is the one of the 2 rezoning ordinances that are out there right now for this property, and that is the one that was prepared and filed by the administration prior to the sale of the property by the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament to Aquinas Realty. The sisters initially, and then Aquinas subsequently, had asked the township to hold off on acting on this rezoning until they had an opportunity to put together a plan and to submit their own application to the township, which they have since done. I believe, Ms. McBreen, that the rezoning of the Catherine Drexel from institutional to MUR is on tentatively for the agenda for the 28th.
28th.
That being the case, council may want to consider once again tabling this particular matter, perhaps to the meeting of the 28th. You'll have some idea then as to how things go on the Aquinas application for the property, and you may or may not want to act on this one after that hearing.
Okay, is there a motion to move the consideration of the zoning change for Mother Catherine Drexel's property to January 28th?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All against?
And then the second item would be agenda item number 10, which is the ordinance that would be creating the street road corridor town center overlay. The ordinance has not yet been reviewed by the township or the county planning commission, and therefore is not yet ready for council's action at this time. Both of those entities have to have an opportunity to review it before you can act. Accordingly, we may want to put this out to your second meeting in February to allow for time for those review agencies to have a look at the ordinance as well.
So it's February 25th is our second meeting, according to Debbie's handy chart here. So does anybody want to make a motion to move this to the date certain of February 25th? So moved. Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay.
Those are the only 2 items of which I'm aware, Mr. Knowles.
Okay, so both, so Joe, just to clarify, there's 2 different matters. There's the MUR for Mother Catherine Drexel's property, and then there's also a zoning change to R2, or is that combined into the MUR?
No, those are wholly separate and apart potential rezoning ordinances.
Okay.
So the MUR zoning is something that's been proposed by Aquinas Realty, who's buying the Catherine Drexel property from the Sisters of the Blessed Sacrament. The R2 rezoning is a rezoning that was proposed by the township when we first became aware that the property was being sold. The township's intention was to preserve the property from potential commercial development And so, having reviewed the zoning map and reviewing the zoning in the areas surrounding the Catherine Drexel property, the zoning classification, non-commercial zoning classification that would be most consistent with all of the properties surrounding the Catherine Drexel property would be R2.
Okay. All right, and we'll handle both of those matters on the 20th. I just want to clarify that because there was some confusion out in the general public.
It's the way I see it, basically, the R2 zoning protects us by having that on the books as being potentially.
Yes, until we decided what to do.
Right, exactly right. So
Okay.
we'll be discussing the MUR zoning, and if we approve it or change it, if we approve it, we can continue with the second phase, which is
Yeah, we won't-
the actual rezoning.
Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. Okay. That said, public comment on any agenda items that are still on the agenda this evening. Seeing no one come forward. So anyone in reference to the Mother Catherine Drexel property would be on our meeting on January 28th, in case there's any interest. Okay, approval of council minutes for the date of November 13th, 2018. Is there any changes anybody has for those minutes?
I had one typographical change. Item 6 on the minutes, signing of the record plan. It said Councilmember Sloan formerly objected. That should be formally.
Where's number six?
Small typo, that's it.
That's important.
6, where that's? Oh, number 6, I'm sorry. So you said page 6.
Formally would mean he did it before. I think formally means he officially did it. There's two different spellings, actually. Okay, any other changes?
I have one, Mr. President.
Yeah, okay.
On page 9, the last paragraph, about halfway down, the line begins that after compaction, it will no longer be, it's typed as impervious, it should be pervious.
Okay, and that's in the third paragraph,
But
or?
the third paragraph, about halfway down, and right in the middle.
What item was that, though, Ron?
That was page 9,
Page 9.
last paragraph, about halfway down, right in the middle. Impervious should actually be pervious.
Okay, do you have that, Deb? Okay, is there any other changes, Ron?
No, I have not.
Okay, for November 13th minutes, do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
I'll make it. I'll second it.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, any against? Okay. December 4th minutes, 2018. Are there any changes that anybody has for December 4th, 2018 minutes? Ron, do you have any?
No.
Okay.
2018, that's a lot of minutes.
Okay, see, Debbie did real great job on December 4th minutes there. There's no changes. So do you have, does anybody have a motion to approve these?
I'll make the
Minutes?
motion we approve as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
Second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's anonymous. Nobody against? Okay, thank you. Okay, the first matter here is consideration of minor subdivision for Bud Silcox, Carlisle Castles LLC, 3674 Grandview Avenue. We have somebody on your behalf. Bud, how are you? Right there, the speaker. Okay, yeah, do you have the forms that you sent out?
I have a copy, yes.
Okay, yeah, you can give them to Mr. Pizzo, I'm sorry.
We also need the proof of mailing.
They were handled.
Okay.
I was told they didn't have a form for
So you hand-delivered the notices, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, so Joe, do you need them to state that on the record, they were hand-delivered, or?
Yes, Mr. Silcox has handed up to me a copy of the notice that's required by township ordinance to be delivered to adjacent property owners. Attached to that notice is a copy of the list generated by the Township Building and Planning Department of the property owners who are supposed to receive a copy of that notice. There are 8 such properties on that list. And Mr. Silcox, you've represented to me and to Mr. Knowles that you hand-delivered a copy of the letter you handed to me this evening. You hand-delivered a copy of that letter to each of the 8 individuals or 8 of the addresses that are on this list, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Other than the fact it's only subdivision, very minor in nature, is that accepted?
Yes, typically what would happen is that the property, or that the applicant would mail it, and then the applicant would then come in here with a copy of the, either the green card receipts or the postal service proofs of mailing, the date stamp on which it was mailed. Either of those we would accept as proof of the, it being mailed. Accompanying that is typically an affidavit from the applicant saying, I hereby swear that these are copies of the proofs of mailing that were mailed to the individual property owners together with a copy of the letter. So in this case, instead of having an affidavit, we have the individual who's standing here before us this evening. I believe he's been sworn in, but perhaps not. Why don't we swear him in?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give?
We just can't go.
I do.
Okay. I assume now that you've been sworn in, your answer is still the same, that you delivered,
Yes, that's correct.
Good.
so we have him on the record as having sworn under oath that he hand-delivered copies of these letters to the 8 individuals. If that proves not to be true, then he's now guilty of violating a state statute involving perjury. So I think we're covered.
Hopefully that's not the case, okay? So, all right, so, but
Yeah, we don't have
I'm
this
assuming you're
witness
representing
standards.
yourself
Yes.
on this? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay, so you have Mr. Gantz's letter dated December 20th, 2018?
Yes.
Okay, and this is a 1.075 acre corner property, and I guess you're subdividing a lot off the property?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'm somewhat familiar with it. I looked at it actually a little bit. Okay, so under land development, okay, I think it's residential zoning is good. Under D201 land development, you're asking for 4 waivers?
Correct.
Okay, so you want to go over those and see, you got permitted aerial photograph in lieu of requiring all existing sewer lines, water lines, fire hydrants, utilities lines.
Yeah, Dumac Engineering has been doing all the engineering work for me, and they said that that's typical to how they do it, and it's been handled that way before, that they use the aerial.
Okay, so you permitted aerial, and the property was just surveyed, right? Because I think I
Yes.
talked to somebody and they said
Yep.
they were getting a survey. Okay, Ron, that's okay, right? Okay.
As long as the survey shows the existing utilities in the neighborhood of the subdivision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay, and to not require the cartway widening of Grandview Avenue and Overland Road? Ron, is that something that's
Well,
acceptable?
the whole neighborhood has certain widths in that area, and he just wants to maintain the width that's there
Right.
now.
The width of the street, okay, that's fine. Okay, and to not require curb along Grandview Avenue and Overland Road. You know, if we grant that waiver, you'll have to pay in lieu of the sidewalks and curbs?
Yes.
Okay, so there's no sidewalks and curbs, Ron, in that neighborhood, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so, and also the same with the sidewalks and curbs?
Yep.
And that'll be determined by our engineer, how much, okay, the following additional items must be addressed. Sheet 1 refers to iron pins to be used for monuments. Only concrete monuments are permitted. So is that an adjustment that you're going to make?
Yeah, we're going to comply with that. Most of these have been done, but we can go down them.
Okay, and she won't propose a fee in lieu of recreation and open space. This would be $2,000, the fee in this case would be $2,000, so you're okay with that?
Yeah, we'll comply with that.
Okay, the blanket easement cited in note 18 on sheet 1 should apply only on lot 2.
Yeah, it's another change that's been done.
Okay, been done. So we'll comply?
Yes, we'll comply.
Okay, the zoning tabulation should show that lot 1 has 2 front yards and no rear yard, and only 2 side yards because it's a corner lot.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
comply.
Okay, all curb information on the Grandview Overland intersection should be provided.
We'll comply with that.
Okay, and we'll defer to the Bucks County Conservation District regarding the adequacy of proposed erosion controls for this project.
That's correct. And their letter is also here. You should have that as well.
Okay. And Ron, are there any issues with stormwater that,
Yes, there are. Item 2, we stated the calculations must be provided demonstrating the following. A is post-development runoff rate will be equal to or less than pre-development. Item B is percolation rate of the soil is sufficient to dissipate the 2-year storm volume. And item 3 is collection system is adequate to handle a 100-year storm.
okay, they're all well complies with your
Yeah,
engineer?
we're in the process of complying with them now. We're waiting to get the perk test done.
My number 3, Ron, I have, it is not clear where the runoff from the basin will be directed. Is
Yes,
that?
that's the next item.
Yeah, that's the next item,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I had it as 3, I'm sorry, I thought you
Okay.
said 3.
So is that something on the plan? It's not clear what they're doing, Ron? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's not clear where that
Okay, so,
basin will
so what the plan needs to be updated to
We need
show?
a stormwater management plan.
Okay, so you're going to provide that, Buzz?
Yes. We'll comply.
And I have a
Okay.
question, Mr. President.
Yeah, okay, yeah. If there's any questions from the, we're good there, I think. So is there any questions from the council?
Yeah, I guess I would direct this to Solicitor Pizzo. As far as the items that are addressed, should also be a number 7 that upon building permits, there would be an impact fee due at that time? Application of permits.
Well, it's residential, I don't think, well, I don't know.
I mean, it wouldn't be due now, but it would be due when they're apply for permits, is what I'm thinking.
We can certainly add that, that note to the plan, that impact fee will be determined and paid prior to the application for building permits.
And that's per the Impact Advisory Board and,
And the impact fee ordinance, yes.
yes.
Thank you. That's what I had, Joe. That's it.
Okay, that's F. We'll put that as F, Impact Fee Advisory Board. Okay, is there any other questions from any of the council members?
I've got a few questions.
Okay.
How do the, well, let's see, aside from building a new house on there, what are your plans for the subdivision of this property?
There's an existing house on the lot now that's being renovated, and that's already underway with permits. And then the new lot will have a new house built on it.
Okay, and you intend to sell both of those houses?
Yes, actually, we already have the existing one under contract.
One's under contract
Yeah.
already? Okay. How do the lot sizes of the 2 proposed lots compare to other lot sizes in the neighborhood?
They're practically identical. We had to go through a variance for zoning only because once the right-of-way is taken away, they're slightly short of the half acre or the 20,000 square foot minimum.
Right.
But so are all the other lots in the neighborhood. They're,
All the lots are just a
yeah,
little bit
they're
under
almost
that?
identical, yeah.
Okay. I guess this is just a remnant of one of the larger properties left in that neighborhood.
Yeah, probably started out as 2 lots, maybe joined as one at one time, who knows?
I figured someday they would build a house for somebody, right?
Yeah.
I've got a question about, and maybe Ron, you can answer this, the comment about the blanket easement only on lot 2.
Yes.
Why wouldn't that also apply to lot 1?
Bear with me a second. refresh my memory on this one.
I would hope that once they're subdivided, that the easement's only now on Lot 2, because before there were one lot, so now.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm hoping
Get some clarification.
that should be the case.
Is it because there's already an existing blanket easement on Lot 1? Or, I guess,
Well, on the original lot.
on the original lot?
Yeah, and now it's only on Lot 2.
But wouldn't it
Yes.
need to be on both Lot 1 and Lot 2?
No, because it'd be separate owners.
There's already one on lot one.
That's what I'm wondering, does
Yes.
us subdividing it automatically transfer that easement to the Lot 1 property?
Yeah, I
The one
think,
that the house is there, it stays with
It
that, and
stays
then
with
there's a
that.
blanket for the second.
Blanket for the second.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right, that makes sense. And then, is this just an application for minor subdivision? Because the application in front of us says minor subdivision, preliminary subdivision, final subdivision. The letter from Mr. Gann says minor subdivision and preliminary final land development. And I believe it was advertised as just a minor subdivision. So what is your intention tonight?
I guess I don't know the semantics of what we're calling it.
Mr. Pizzo, was it advertised properly? Can we approve a minor subdivision with the terms being
Minor,
final land
Excuse me, I'm
development slash in Mr. Gantz's letter, or is his letter just overly labeled?
minor subdivision applications are not advertised.
Okay, but,
I think I can clarify that.
Okay, go ahead.
When a minor subdivision is just creating two lots with no anticipation of current development, there would be no preliminary and final land development. But he's proposing sewer, water, waiver of curbs. So in other words, he's developing the land also.
yes,
So both of those are covered with this application.
okay.
So is it a land development or is it a preliminary and final subdivision?
No, it's only minor subdivision, because a minor is 1 into 2.
Right.
That's the only time it's a minor. And then the
So the
land,
application that checks off all those other boxes is incorrect?
yeah, well, he is doing some land development by building a home, running utilities. If
Got
there's
it,
no,
but he hasn't applied for land development.
well, if he
No,
hasn't
actually,
applied for
the
it.
application says that this is an application for minor subdivision, preliminary and final subdivision.
Right.
And that's what Ron Gans's letter says also.
No, Ron Gantz's letter says preliminary and final land development.
Minor subdivision and preliminary.
Paragraph
final land.
F, I guess that's the confusion.
A reference in the title, it says minor subdivision and
Yeah.
preliminary final land development plans.
Right, so,
But that's what they're asking for. A minor subdivision
What's your,
and preliminary and final.
no, the
development.
application, and Ron, I don't know if we're looking at the same things, maybe that's the confusion. The application says preliminary subdivision and final subdivision.
Right, that's incorrect. There's no need for a preliminary and final subdivision if it's a minor subdivision.
okay, so can you correct that?
By minor, it implies is also a final.
Right, okay.
I believe what Mr. Sloan is referencing is that there are 3 subdivision boxes that the applicant apparently inadvertently checked. He checked minor subdivision, preliminary subdivision, and final subdivision. Obviously, he's not applying for all 3. It's a minor subdivision as well as a preliminary and final land development, which is how the township has processed it. Is that correct, Mr. Gans?
Yes,
Okay.
And you reviewed the plans as such, right, Mr. Gans?
yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have to advertise land development plans?
No.
No? Okay. I think there were some comments from the Bucks County Planning Commission as well. Have you seen this letter?
Yes, I have it.
Okay. The waivers are the same. Tree protection. You even comment on that comment at all?
Yeah, we're going to comply with that. It's actually already been changed. I haven't brought the new plan because we're going to wait till everything's done, obviously,
Sure.
rather than keep updating it. But they've already made the changes to incorporate the protection for the trees.
Okay, and their comment number 3 regarding sewage facilities?
That they have, the engineer has applied for that. We're waiting to get that back.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have 2 items, Mr. President. Do you intend on putting a basement in with the new development on the second lot?
Yes,
It looked like there was a window well, I guess, an access point.
correct.
I guess, what are your intentions for water mitigation while you're digging the hole for the basement, as far as making sure that there's no runoff to the neighboring property?
Well, I think they have everything on the plan as far as the silt fence and control of, while they're doing the construction.
So you are putting in some means or mitigation to avoid any possible
Yes.
issues during construction?
Yes.
Okay,
They will need approval from the County Conservation District
okay,
for those items.
okay. And then, second point, Mr. Gans, while I have you, are you concerned about the fact that we do not have any water management plans? Or how concerned are you if we were to approve this application this evening, with the fact that we don't have any water especially for the fact, and the reason why I'm asking is, Mr. Silcox is requesting a variance for the lot size as well. So it's a little smaller than, what it should be.
He received the variance. He already has
variance.
that. And you can, if you wish, approve the plans subject to submission of stormwater calculations acceptable to the township engineer.
Okay,
It's a very relatively small area.
Yeah. And they have a pretty significant system designed on the plan. They just have to, run the test to make sure that the perk rate and everything will handle what it needs to handle, but.
Okay, we can do
certainly
it
intend to do
contingent upon the
Yep.
plans. Okay, is there anything else? You okay? Anything else?
I'm fine.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry.
thank you.
Okay. Okay, is there anybody from the audience that wants to speak for or against this project?
My name's Alan Windsor, 3232 Azalea Avenue. This is just for a minor subdivision. This isn't for building. It's not for plans for being built
No,
yet. You still have to come back to the board for,
No. No, plans are on the,
well, I just looked at our list for tomorrow to look at it from the environmental board, and we haven't seen these plans yet. They're still sitting out there. So there's no environmental input into this yet. And I personally would like to see a stormwater management plan before I say anything about this. So can we get that before tomorrow? For tomorrow's meeting?
It's up to the engineer. It'll be contingent upon that coming in and being acceptable for the engineer for this to move, for them to be able to do it.
Well, we can't comment on it, is that what you're saying?
he's talking about the environmental board.
The environmental
I
board?
understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can comment on it if you'd like.
Right.
The board has the
Well,
final-
we haven't seen the plans yet, so,
And I'm
You-
guessing that, my guess would be that the stormwater management plan would not be completed in time for your meeting tomorrow night.
tomorrow night.
Otherwise, we would have had it tonight.
Right, that's where I'm getting at. So I'd like to have this put off, if it's at all possible, until at least all the boards get to see. I don't know whether the boards didn't get to see this yet. Is there any more comments from any of the other boards on any of
The
your?
only other board that would go to a zoning, and they already approved.
They already
the zoning
did?
Variances, it would go to you. It doesn't go to planning commission or anything like
Okay.
that, because it's not,
Well, it would have to go to impact fee at some point.
and that's part of.
Yeah, we have a contingent for that.
Yeah, that would be part, yes. Yeah, okay. That's all
Now,
I have.
Alan, do you know how long has that plan been sitting in the bin? That's the question.
I know we didn't have a meeting last month. It could have been there
Well,
last
That's
month.
the problem. the plans are put in your bin, but if nobody removes them for 2 months,
Well,
that's
last month, we didn't have the meeting because
Well-
there wasn't any plans in the bin.
all right.
So I'm
So it's been
assuming
there maybe a month.
maybe, yeah, like after we would have had our last meeting, the plans were probably put in after that.
So
I'm
you
not-
haven't even had, even with a normally scheduled meeting, you wouldn't have had an opportunity
See,
to review
I
it yet?
I see on the thing, it just says minor subdivision. It doesn't say anything about planning of construction on it.
Agreed, and that was the question that I had asked earlier.
Right. And to back it up, Mr. Kisselback's thing, if we don't see a management thing, I mean, of water management, where's it going? Where's the water going? I mean,
Well, we're making it contingent upon the engineers
All right.
approving the plan for the water runoff.
okay. And we can still make a comment on, I mean, can we get that in our box for the next month if it's done by then? So we can at least make a comment on what we
Yeah,
will-
I don't see why you can't make a comment on it, so you'd be able to do that, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't
Again,
want to
this
hold
is
the guy up,
minor-
I don't
this
want to
is-
hold,
we
I don't
have-
want to hold the guy up for a whole month, so the environmental advisory board can make a
We don't
comment
mean
on it.
anything, is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't say you didn't mean anything, but
What
do you
if-
want us to hold him up a month for you to, when it's been waiting for a month already? It's, is that what you want us to do?
I'd like to be able to comment on the whole plan. We haven't even seen it yet.
Alan, would you be willing to forward any comments from the Environmental Advisory Board to the mayor, council, as
Tomorrow
well as
night.
the township engineer?
After tomorrow night, yes. We do that anyway.
And then we can make the approval contingent on satisfaction by the township engineer to resolve any comments from the environmental board.
And if he doesn't agree
Okay.
with us, that's fine. I mean, just as
Well, that's
long
what I'm saying.
as we get to
It's a-
say
Can I ask
something.
Mr.
That's
Silcox a
fine.
question, since you're up there?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, is this paramount that you get this started immediately, because it is wintertime? Okay, do you have the luxury of waiting another month till other things come in?
Well, we have to kind of work around the weather, so that's what we've been waiting for it to, not rain every day for a little while so that they can dig the holes and do the perk test. Like I said, they have on the plan an underground basin and drains and everything drawn into the plan. They just have to do the actual testing and make sure that will handle the.
Okay, well, I think
Fire amounts.
if Alan's fine with this, and I think we take Mr. Sloan's suggestion and make it contingent upon the engineer accepting the environmental board's comments, and that they're acceptable to the engineer and the council members.
Right, he
doesn't have
to agree with us. We
Yeah. So we'll review them.
Mr. Knowles, we're not talking
I'm not
about,
against this project.
we're not talking about a whole month. Mr. Silcox, but as far as digging the holes, I mean, the ground's pretty well frozen over and it's supposed to snow this weekend. I mean, would you have any concern even if we push it off to the January 28th meeting? I mean, we're not even talking about a month. I think it's important and valuable to get that input
make
from
sure
our
we have
boards.
comments.
I'm sorry?
No, I agree. I want to make sure that we can understand any concerns that the advisory board
And
has.
I just said last meeting that, and I reiterated the point that our boards are valuable.
They're very valuable.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I agree.
do we want to make it to the 20? We make a mountain out of a molehill here, but do you we'll wait to the 28th and give the environmental board a chance?
Yeah,
You
that
can
should be
break right
fine.
into
Yeah,
that?
my only concern time-wise is, like I said, the weather is one thing, but the fact that we have the one house under contract, these people are very
Okay,
anxious,
well, we're
very
talking about
anxious
we're
to
talking
move
about
forward, knowing that the subdivision is going to go
We're
through.
talking about a couple weeks, and people
Yeah.
are looking to get the environmental board's opinion of this before we go forward, so.
Okay.
We have however, also a more complete plan for us, too.
Yeah, we can have the,
Assuming.
Will the stormwater management
stormwater.
plan be completed in time for the meeting in 2 weeks?
Again,
do
it
you know?
depends if the weather allows us to do the testing.
The testing.
Yeah, which
Mr.
I don't know
President?
that the ground is
Yeah.
too
May I
frozen
ask
to do it. It's a matter of,
Yeah.
we just need a period without rain or snow for
Are you
at
planning on
least a couple
doing
days.
any excavation in the next month or two?
No, well, it depends again on the weather. Assuming we get approval and it's decent, then we will start yeah.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, you have something
Yeah,
to add?
Ron, isn't it mandatory every single home, when somebody subdivides a single home, that we already have a plan in place for the water for that they had to dig a pit?
Yes, that's all on the plan, Mayor, but the calculations were not submitted with it.
Oh, okay.
So we're asking for them to back that up.
I know
They're on
we
the-
had-
It's on the plan.
Okay, well, that's not the holdup. The holdup is the environmental board did not get a chance to look at this plan yet, and they're meeting tomorrow night, so I guess I'll have a chance to look at it tomorrow night. So I'm going to make a motion, so we don't spend all night talking about this, is that we move this to our January 28th meeting.
Second.
Okay, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against?
Well,
Okay.
Mr. Knowles,
Yeah.
two things.
Is there enough time for it?
Is there anybody? do we have a
First,
time period?
we're continuing the hearing, which we've already begun.
Right.
So everyone should be clear on that. Secondly, to the extent that there may be people in the audience who came here tonight for the purpose of hearing this, you may want to afford them the opportunity to
Yeah, I'll
speak.
continue public here. Yeah, no one, I didn't see anybody else,
No
but
one
I'll
can-
ask.
Okay, I'm sorry, I
thank
missed
you.
that in the discussion.
Okay, so if you can give me, is there anybody else that's here for or against this project on Grandview for the subdivision? Okay, seeing no one else come forward, we'll close public comment.
It's a minor thing.
Yeah,
It's a minor
yeah, I didn't see anybody else, but that's good. Okay. All right, so Bud, we'll see you the 28th then. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, number 5, consideration of a resolution authorizing acceptance of a municipal grant program contract awarded by the Redevelopment Authority in the County of Bucks in the amount of $165,000 regarding the Bensalem Towns Against Graffiti. Mr. Pizzo, do you have this, or?
You pretty much said it all, Mr. Knowles. As council will recall, sometime last fall, you approved the submission of various grant applications to the County Redevelopment Authority for the municipal grant program. That program administers certain funds that are paid to the county RDA out of the gaming proceeds of Parks Casino and are distributed among the municipalities that border the township, as well as the township and the county. Township was awarded 2 grants as part of the 2018-2019 program, and these would be considered 2019 grants. And so they are the next 2 items on your agenda. The first one that you just described is, again, the $165,000 for Towns Against Graffiti. At this point, what happens in the process is that the county has prepared a contract, as it does every year, that's in the same form as it's been every year, for the administration of this grant. One of the items that the Redevelopment Authority requires of the township in this process is a resolution of this board authorizing the acceptance of the grant, designating the Township Director of Administration as the person for the contact with the grant program, and authorizing the mayor and Mr. Samori as authorized signatories for the all documents associated with the grant. The resolution is in the same form that we've done in the past for this program, and is in a form acceptable for your consideration and execution this evening.
Okay, and we'll do these one at a time, right, I imagine, right?
Sure, easy enough.
Okay, is there any comments from anybody in reference to the resolution? Okay.
I don't have any comments on the resolution. I just want to note that this does match the 2019 approved budget, so this is a line item in the budget. Nothing additional that was not already planned for.
Is this more money than it's in the budget? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
I'm saying it matches what's in the budget.
Yeah, it matches, yeah, it has to.
Let me make something clear. The first one doesn't, Bensalem administrates that 160. That's not
Right.
coming to Bensalem for our use.
No, this
It's
is for the whole
all of the
program.
lower
Yeah.
Bucks County.
Understood.
But we administrate it.
Okay, we do have a motion to approve the resolution for the Bensalem Towns. Again.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Okay, that was good, working together. Okay, consideration of resolution authorizing the application of municipal grant to the Redevelopment Authority for the emergency responder radios. Joe, is this the same, or?
everything that I just said in regard to the tag, except in this case, this resolution would be for $150,000, and this is for the Bensalem Emergency Responder Radio acquisition. The county RDA has helped to underwrite the cost of the emergency radio switchover that the township's been, and all municipalities have been required to do over the past several years. So again, everything is in order for your acceptance and consideration.
So in order
this
means
evening.
it's the correct amount too, 150,000?
Everything is Jake.
Okay, the only problem I have with Mr. Piser's statement saying the last several years, as opposed to the last millennium of years, it seems forever we've been doing this. that I know of.
Decades at least.
I'll
Okay.
put that for, oh,
Oh, go ahead, Ed.
Mr.
put that form of
Pizzo,
motion.
one question. This is the acceptance of the grant, right? Not the application.
Yeah, the agenda says the application for the grant.
Oh, because it should be accepted, right?
Yes, it should say acceptance.
right.
And the document does in fact say acceptance.
Okay?
You made a motion, Ed?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll second.
And then you adjusted it to have the word acceptance changed in the resolution. Oh, it's in the resolution.
Yes.
The resolution's okay, it's just the agenda.
Oh, the agenda item.
But
Okay.
I do have one question. So the line item in the budget for this is actually much greater than the $150,000. So looks like the 2019 budget anticipated receiving the full cost of these radio payment, which was $388,600. So we didn't receive the full amount that we applied for, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I obviously don't have a problem with accepting this grant, but should we plan going forward when we do next year's budget that we may not, we shouldn't anticipate receiving the full payment in grant revenue and maybe budget down? Because now this is an extra roughly $180,000 in expenditures that we had not been anticipating. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that we're spending the money.
The amount that the township's going to pay towards the radio stays
I
the
apologize.
same.
It's the delta, there's another $180,000, $190,000
Yeah, the out.
that we have to make up for now in township expenditures. So thank you for the correction, Mr. Pizzo.
Yeah. I think we kind of knew that they wouldn't get the whole thing, but we'll have to make that clearer in the future. Okay, so all in favor of this resolution? We have a first and a second, Mr. Kisselback and Mr. Polari. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Okay. Number 7, consideration of resolution regarding the grant agreement for the Green Light Go program. Mr. Pizzo, you want to go on this?
Get it? Green guy?
Okay.
Thank you. The township had previously applied for and received a grant through the Commonwealth for the Green Light Go program. As council
Thank
will
you, sir.
recall, the Green Light Go program is a program in conjunction with the Commonwealth to help fund for traffic signals and other pertinent improvements to major traffic corridors within the community. In this case, Street Road, Mechanicsville Road, those types of roadways. The township has received a grant in the amount of $740,000. The township has to match that with a payment of $185,000, which is 20% of the total project cost of $925,000. Again, this is all consistent with an application that was previously authorized by council to be submitted. The application having been approved by the Commonwealth is now looking for a resolution of this body authorizing, accepting the grant and authorizing the Director of Administration to sign any and all documents necessary to effectuate the purposes of the grant and the project. The resolution is in the form provided to us by the Commonwealth and is in a form acceptable for your consideration and approval this evening.
Okay, any questions from any of the council members?
I don't have a question. I'll just note again that this is consistent with the approved 2019 budget.
It is or it isn't?
It is.
See
We're
how
good.
October we go this year?
Okay.
Just trying to make sure.
That's a plus.
I'll make a motion it's approved as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Okay. All right, consideration and public hearing on an ordinance approving the request of Acme Markets to transfer liquor license into the township, repealing all inconsistent ordinances and establishing an effective date thereafter. And this is the Acme Market at the Woodhaven Mall Center,
Yes, that's correct.
since the other one.
As council has seen on several occasions over the past year, 2 years since the Commonwealth changed several aspects of the liquor laws that now allow for beer and wine to be sold. I'll start that over. This application is similar to several that the council has been asked to consider over the last year or two since the Commonwealth changed the liquor laws, particularly as they pertain to the sale of beer and wine from grocery stores. The application before you this evening is for an intermunicipal transfer of a liquor license. As council will recall, several years prior to the most recent changes to the liquor code, the state allowed for the transfer of retail liquor licenses within the county from one municipality to another, where it previously had not been allowed. But in making that change to the law, the transfer from one municipality to another has to first be presented to the local governing body for your review and approval. In this case, the Acme Market at the Woodhaven Mall is looking to transfer a liquor license, which is currently located in Quakertown, to their store, again, for the purpose of the sale of beer and wine from that store, consistent with most of the other grocery stores in the township at this point. The township code requires that this process be done by way of ordinance. The ordinance has been properly advertised in the Bucks County Courier Times, and the ordinance is ready for your consideration this evening. The attorney representing the applicant is at the podium. I'll allow him to introduce himself. He has provided Ms. Gallagher and I with the proofs of advertising, or I'm sorry, the proof of notification of the adjacent property owners. Quite a few, I don't know how many, looks like several hundred probably.
There was a lot.
And Ms. Gallagher has reviewed them and they appear to be in order, and therefore should be made a part of the record of this hearing.
Okay, sir, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Greg Zoll. I'm an attorney with Flaherty & O'Hara, and I represent Acme Markets. I'm going to pass out what I've marked as Exhibit A. These are the floor plans. We originally had them attached to our original application. We had them attached to our original application. I think they were marked as Exhibit C and Exhibit D.
I just wanted to clarify with you real quick, is that even though Mr. Pizzo said that this is due to changes in the liquor law that allow supermarkets to sell wine and beer, is that what it is?
Yes.
What's that?
Yes.
Yes, okay. You still have to establish, it's not that you're allowed as a supermarket, you have to establish that it's a restaurant or something.
Absolutely.
Okay, so,
It's a restaurant that's located inside of a grocery store with
okay,
interior
have you ever been in
connections.
the Acme at the Woodhaven Mall?
No, I have not yet.
Okay, well,
I've been to the other
the
probably
shopping carts barely
32
fit
other
down the
outlets.
aisles besides a restaurant, but is this restaurant going to be in the upper left-hand corner next to the entrance? Is that what it looks like?
Yes.
Okay. And what's there now, do you know?
If you could go ahead and explain. This is Matt Greenberg from Acme.
Okay, do you want to come up and introduce yourself? And- Yeah, you have to sworn in, too.
Both of us?
You can swear in.
You might as well get sworn in.
Full name, please?
Matthew Greenberg?
B-E-R-G.
Yes.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Michael, you might as well get sworn in too in case there's any other technical issues.
And your name is?
Michael, last name is Laloya, Liloia.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, and if you could just give us your title so we can...
Yeah, I'm the manager of training and development for Acme.
Okay, and then this is, do you know what's in that area now that's you're putting the
Yes, it's
tables?
basically just display space out in front of the in-store bakery, the front of the produce department, and kind of a big square corner of the store where we display sale items.
Okay,
Is that all?
okay, that's it. Yeah, thank you.
And for the record, Mr. Loyola, he's the construction manager.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, do you have anything else, or?
Yeah, I'm going to go through my
Go
presentation.
ahead, go ahead.
We are here to request the Bensalem Township approve a resolution permitting the intermunicipal transfer of a restaurant liquor license from outside the township to within it pursuant to revised liquor code, Title 47, Section 461B3. The restaurant liquor license would be transferred to Acme Markets for use in the new restaurants to be located within the existing grocery store located at 1336 Bristol Pike, Bensalem, PA. The liquor code permits the PLCB to approve the transfer of a license from any other municipality in Bucks County to another municipality in Bucks County, so long as you, the receiving municipality, issue a resolution approving the transfer. The standard to be applied by the receiving municipality is contained in the liquor code, which states the receiving municipality must approve the transfer unless it finds that doing so would adversely affect the health, welfare, peace, and morals of the municipality. With the passage of Act 39 that went into effect back on August 8, 2016, the legislature restated the purpose of the liquor code. According to the legislature, it is the purpose of this act to reform the system by which alcohol is dispensed and controlled within the Commonwealth to reflect changes in the marketplace, and while continuing to protect the health, welfare, and peace and morals of the citizens, and to provide for the operation of a retail system that promotes competition and convenience. Another big change the legislature made to the liquor code under Act 39 is that now all restaurant liquor licensees can apply for and obtain a wine expanded permit, which permits the licensee to be able to sell up to 4 750 milliliter bottles of wine to go. Prior to the passage of Act 39, restaurant licensees could only sell for on-premises consumption. Based on Acme's operating and business model, the transfer of this liquor license to Acme's restaurant at its existing store will not affect the health, welfare, and peace and morals of the township or its residents. In order for you to make a decision on Acme's request for the intermunicipal transfer of license, let me provide you with some background information. Acme Markets has been in business for 126 years and has been a member of the Bensalem Township business community, serving the residents of the community since April of 1971. Currently, Acme leases the property from Bensalem 11 LLC, the owner of the property. Acme operates approximately 175 stores in 6 states, employing 18,374 individuals. Acme is owned by New Albertsons LP, formerly known as New Albertsons Inc., one of the largest supermarket companies in the United States, employing more than 281,000 employees. Currently, Acme has 27 stores open and operating in Pennsylvania that sell both beer and wine to go. In fact, Acme already has 1 store open in Bensalem Township already. Acme is known for the longevity of its workforce. Many of its employees come from families with multiple members and multiple generations who are still working for the company to this day. Currently, Acme employs 22 full-time employees and 72 part-time employees at its Bensalem location. As a responsible member of the business communities in which it does business, Acme and its parent companies participate in a wide range of national, regional, and local charitable endeavors. The Acme store located in Bensalem Township has also participated and supported events through its charitable giving that were designed to benefit the local charities, schools, and various sports organizations. Acme plans to remodel a section of its already existing 32,760 square foot grocery store in order to include a 2,579 square foot restaurant with an indoor seating area to accommodate 30 patrons. There will not be any outdoor seating at this location. Moreover, Acme's restaurant will boast a wide selection of freshly prepared foods for consumption on and off the premises or to take home, such as hot and cold sandwiches, gourmet salads, quick meals, to name just a few. The minimum requirements to hold a restaurant liquor license are 400 square feet and seating and food to serve 30 patrons at one time. Acme's in-store restaurant well exceeds the minimum requirements under the liquor code. What we are requesting tonight is nothing new or unusual. Over the past 10 years, the PLCB has approved liquor licenses to over 500 grocery stores with interior connections to the unlicensed grocery store. In fact, Acme itself today currently operates 27 such restaurants in its stores in Pennsylvania. What I've passed out to you is a diagram of what the licensed area will look like in relation to the store, as well as a blown-up version of the licensed area itself, showing where the interior connections will be between the licensed restaurant premises and the unlicensed grocery store. The restaurant hours of operation will be Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m., and on Sunday from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. Acme's hours of operation are less than what the liquor code provides for both on and off premises consumption of beer in its restaurants, as restaurant licensees are permitted to sell between the hours of 7 a.m. and 2 a.m., Monday through Saturday, and from 9 a.m. until 2 a.m. on Sunday, and are permitted to sell wine from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., Monday through Saturday, and on Sundays from 9 a.m. until 11 p.m. Acme's unlicensed grocery store hours of operation will be Monday through Sunday from 6 a.m. until 12 a.m. There will be a dedicated restaurant manager who will receive the Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement developed Responsible Alcohol Management Program owner-manager training, as well as the BLCE's seller-server training. All other restaurant employees will receive ramp seller-server training. In addition to completing the ramp training, all of Acme employees will go through their in-house alcohol training program as well. All restaurant associates working in the restaurant will be 21 years of age or older. Moreover, Acme's establishment itself will become ramp certified. Acme will employ a 100% carding policy and will utilize an ID card reader to read the customer's age and to make sure that the ID is valid. Acme will also utilize a cash register lockout system, which requires the clerk to input the customer's date of birth from the ID before the cash register will be allowed to process and record the transaction itself. Acme's carding policy is simple: no ID, no sale, regardless of age. Acme will offer single servings of beer for on-premises consumption and up to 192 fluid ounces of beer and 3,000 milliliters of wine to go. All beer and wine purchases must be made at the designated cash registers located on the restaurant premises. The other store cash registers will not be able to accept any of the beer or wine SKUs. Beer purchased for on-premises consumption must be consumed in the seating area itself, and there will be signs posted to that effect. In the restaurant, there will be several security cameras that cover the restaurant area and the designated restaurant cash registers. In addition, restaurant associates and the licensed manager will physically monitor the restaurant premises as well as the seating area. There will be no sales of distilled spirits, and smoking will not be permitted anywhere on the licensed premises. There will be no arcade games, pool tables, or live entertainment. However, there will be a couple of TVs in the seating area playing local programming. As I mentioned earlier in my presentation, Acme operates 27 other restaurants in PA that have the same policies and procedures in place. None of those stores have ever been cited for sales to minors visibly intoxicated. In fact, they've received no citations since they started operating back in August of 2014. They are the gold standard. Acme has been, and will continue to be a responsible business owner and member of the business community that's making a significant investment in its Bensalem Township location, and that investment will need to be protected by responsible management and well-trained employees. This will not be a place where people will come just to hang out and drink, but it will be a nice, safe, and secure environment where people will be able to come in, get something to eat, have a beer or two, or order, and take it home with them. For these reasons, we request that Bensalem Township issue a resolution approving the intermunicipal transfer of the liquor license into the township. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, you don't have waitresses in this restaurant, right? You have to go and get your own food?
No, that's correct. You'll be able to go up to the hot bars, the salad bars. There will be pre-made sandwiches and stuff like that. You'll be able to go, take it up to the register, take your beer from the single serve, bring it up, and they'll ring it up.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, because you sounded like a restaurant.
This liquor license is being transferred in from Quakertown.
Yes.
Was it in use in Quakertown until recently?
It was in safekeeping. Acme, actually, we acquired this license back in 2000, we put it under agreement back in 2016, purchased the rights to the license early 2017 in anticipation of the project moving forward now in 2019.
Did you attempt to look for a license already located within the municipality?
Yes, we did at that time.
And there was nothing available?
There was nothing available.
Okay. If this gets approved tonight, when will the renovation begin and end?
We will be preparing to go ahead and file as soon as we get the resolution. Once we have prior approval and the PLCB's approved our plans, I would imagine would start within
I would imagine.
3 months of approval.
Obviously contingent upon PLC approval. We would submit to the township our construction documents and permit applications. I'm going to say that's probably going to put us, we're in January. Pre-approval, if we're lucky, will come inside of the next 60 to 90 days. Looking at it it's sunny outside, not raining. So 90 days is going to put us somewhere in the March to April area.
To begin
Go
the
through the
renovation?
township, probably another 30 days, and the day I get approval, within a week, I'm in the store.
Okay.
Shoveling the ground, so to speak.
And then how long do you think the project will take?
Project like
complete it?
this, maybe 3 weeks.
Okay.
Maybe. It's a relatively small project.
Right,
all things
small area.
considered, so.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much.
On the floor plan, you have the beige corridor. Is that because you need so many square footage? I don't understand. What does that mean?
Hold still for 1 second.
That's the
That's
restaurant
the
beer
shadowed
sales area.
That's the part that ultimately winds up getting submitted to the PLCB as well as to your professionals. Consider the shaded area. The shaded area is actually the part that we refer to as a licensed area. So the PLCB knows what's considered restaurant and what's not. The shaded area is considered the restaurant or licensed area.
All the sales of alcohol beer or wine to go, all have to take place within the licensed area.
Oh, so these are sales shelves, then, I guess, with section 2 and section 3?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I get it.
So we'll have,
Sorry.
no, go ahead.
You've got one side is going to be, just for clarification, one side is actually refrigerated case, the other side is dry shelves.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure that that was clear as well. I don't want that misrepresented.
I'm not sure if anybody of the three of you can speak to it, but will it be a similar setup to the other Acme in Bensalem that's already selling alcohol?
A little bit smaller in square footage, but literally the same setup.
Same setup.
Okay. Thank you.
I believe the other Bensalem one is just over 3,000 square.
think it's
This is
about
just over
30.
2,700.
Okay.
Does the
They're gonna
statute
sell pony
require, or
bottles.
does the statute allow for persons under 21 to be in the sale and service area?
Yes, yes. With the wine expanded permit, with the amount of food that we'll be doing overall, and with the wine expanded permit, which allows minors to be on the licensed premises.
So when you're entering the store through, the entrance isn't going to change. Persons going through the store will, when they initially enter the store, will be entering into the sale and service area
Correct,
On
on the
their-
left-hand side.
on their way to the produce department.
Yes.
if they're Not, okay.
They'll be going through the licensed area as permitted by the PLCB, and then they have the right to go left or right through what we consider the unlicensed area. Now, one point to make, kind of, I'm going to say slingshotting on what you had just said, to the reference of minors, and this is something that Matt may be able to speak a little bit more if you guys are interested in it, but we do not allow, if somebody comes in with a minor and they're going to consume on premises, we do not allow that minor to sit with them at that table. They have to sit at the next table. Minor cannot sit with their parent or guardian as they come in to consume. 99% of our sales are not for consumption within the restaurant. They wind up leaving anyway, but that just happens to be one of the things that we enforce as well.
And one of the reasons why that we have to offer beer for on-premises consumption is because the liquor code requires it. We have to offer it for on-premises in order to be able to sell for off-premises.
And that's my, I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong, but I mean, that's what the other people say too. But I mean, the thing is, they changed, if they wanted to allow alcohol to be sold in supermarkets, they should just change the law and allow you to get a license to sell in supermarkets. But to go through this song and dance where we pretend like it's a restaurant and it has 30 seats because the code says it has to be 30 seats, and there's no chance that 20 people are ever going to sit in there. And the only reason you're taking a license that was a restaurant or a bar and saying we're moving it to another restaurant in Bensalem, which is not a restaurant, it's an Acme with a couple seats in it, you know what I mean? So it's, the Acme's small. I didn't vote for the other Acme, but that's just my personal, I think they should change the law if the public residents, voters of Pennsylvania want to sell beer and liquor in supermarkets and Wawas like they do down south and in other states, just change the law. To go through this thing like pretending like you're a restaurant is to me, is a little ridiculous, but.
I'm from Jersey.
That's just
Can
me.
you come back with us to Jersey?
Yeah.
On our behalf once in a while?
No, that's all right.
If you think this is crazy, you should come over there for a little while.
I actually agree with you, Mr. Knowles.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Write that down. Put that in a record.
No, but here's one thing we have found. I mean, we do have people that come in to the restaurant itself. They will get something to eat. They will go do their grocery shopping. But they're not buying a beer to sit down and have with their meal.
But let me just clarify what you had just said previously. So if someone comes in and decides they're going to open up a bottle of alcohol and they're with a child, then you're just going to simply make them move to a different table within that same seating area?
Well, minors can be in there as long as they, well, go ahead, Zach.
I don't think you can open bottles. I think they have.
If there's an open container at the table, no minor can sit at the table.
Speak at the microphone,
I'm
please.
sorry. So a minor is not allowed to sit at the same table as somebody consuming alcohol unless that person is over 25 and agrees to supervise that minor and keep them within their sight and hearing at all times. And a minor can only, the only exception to that rule is if a minor is with their parent or legal guardian or court-appointed legal guardian.
Okay.
So for example, if a bunch of 22-year-old kids came in there to have a drink and one of them was 18, the 18-year-old would not be permitted to sit at that table.
At that table?
Correct.
Again, clarify, there's several tables here, so they would have to then move to just a different table. They can still sit in that area, correct?
Under the law, yes, but at Acme, we don't allow unaccompanied minors to sit in the seating area at all, anyway.
That's one of the in-house policies that they.
Right, that's our in-house policy.
So, but there's not a restriction on a child sitting with their parent?
No, of course not.
Okay. That's how it sounded the first time around. Thank you for clarifying.
So just to clarify the statute,
The Super Bowl party there, you want to go?
no one under 21 employed is allowed to serve and/or work there in that what we're calling a restaurant?
That's correct. That's one of Acme's in-house policies.
Okay. Let me ask you another question. The employees that you have at that store, are there any that are under 21?
Sure.
And how do you?
Imagine in the grocery store, yes.
Okay, I mean, when we're talking about a restaurant, you're not necessarily serving people, right? So how are you limiting then those that are over 21 as far as employees are concerned?
It's on how we go through, and we go ahead with the scheduling for that store. The only people that we schedule to work on the restaurant premises will be 21 years of age or older.
Okay, and when you're talking about working, what are they doing?
They're monitoring the premises, they're working the cash registers, and when we say in the liquor industry, when you are serving, that is basically ringing up the cell, not only just taking the beer over and dropping it off at the table. So we're going to have people that are going to be working the cash registers as people that are going to be moving between there to be able to physically monitor the seating area as well as the other areas of the licensed premises.
Okay, thank you.
Plus, we have the security cameras, so we've got somebody that's monitoring that section, all of those sections throughout the licensed premise at all times.
Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else from council have any questions? Okay. Hearing none, I want to have to give the public a chance. If there's anybody here that would like to comment for or against this transfer of the ordinance, the transfer of this liquor license? Seeing no one come forward, is there a motion that someone wants to put forward?
I'll make a motion, we approve as presented.
Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote nay.
All against? Say
Nay.
nay.
That's a double.
Nay. Okay, so 3 ayes and 2 nays. Okay, so good luck, all right? Okay.
Wait till we start discussing legal marijuana.
Yeah, we'll have that next. Okay, number 9 and 10 on the agenda were moved to number 9 to the 28th and number 10 to the 25th of February.
Yep.
Number 11, consideration of reduced permit fee regarding the fire alarm system installation at Bensalem School District, Schaefer Middle School, 3333 Unionville Road, Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Joe, do you have this, or?
Yeah, I can care less whether I got it or not.
Only if I really have to. Now, just give me 1 second.
I just want to find it here, what it's reduced to. You got it, Joe?
I got it.
You got it?
The permit fees for Schaefer Middle School was a total of $1614. 50% of that they're asking for is $807.
$807,
Is
okay.
the waiver.
Okay, so it's half the 1614, thanks, Joe, I couldn't locate it there for a second. 807 would be the price that we're willing to reduce the fire alarm installation fees. Is there, anybody want to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve as presented.
I'll
Okay,
second.
Jesse, second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any against? Okay, that's good.
The second one is 33, I guess the other one is also, or, yeah.
It's
Same
the same thing.
principle, the math, I checked this out, so the math, the total fee should be $634, reduced 50% to $317.
Yeah, because they put the same pricing in
Yeah.
for the alarm.
Okay, what are the totals again, Jess?
The total fees would be $634. The calculated 50% would be $317.
Okay. And that's for the vestibule project? Is that what they have it separate for?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the vestibule project?
So moved.
50%,
Second.
317. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Okay, that's good. That's the vestibule. Okay, the secure vestibule, I didn't see that separate. Okay, number 13 on agenda, public comment. Does anybody have any public comment that they would like to make?
The total is $1,000. That's an investigation. It's 50%.
Ellen Windsor, 3232 Azalea Avenue. So Mr. Kisselback can get back to his Eagles victory party here. The Horizon Boulevard, the gates on both of those on Old Lincoln Highway are wide open again. I'm not sure if they're using the entrance next to the Lowe's to go up to Route 1. I don't know exactly what it is. I see there's some stuff staged up there, but there's people going up in there, driving up in there now. The one down by where the smokestack used to be has been open since they finished that culvert. And I haven't seen any trash dump, but I'd like not to see any trash dumped in there. So if we can get those gates closed, or
Where are the gates at again? I'm sorry?
the one used to be down where the smokestack was.
Yeah.
That one's open. It was been open. They used that area to stage equipment when they did that culvert, and they haven't locked it up yet.
Quentin, can you check on
Okay,
those?
we can check on that.
Thank you.
And the other one's up by Penn Valley's entrance. It goes up beside Lowe's.
Mr. Nero.
Okay, Mr. Nero, I'll go out and check both those locations.
I have a feeling they're using that one, though. to
We'll make
stay
sure they're secure, secure overnight at least.
every night,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Alan, all you gotta do is make a call. As soon as that stuff, you know we take care of that.
All right, all right. I don't know if you've been up Street Road towards Route 1 lately, but they chopped every tree down in the northbound on-ramp to Route 1.
Yeah, because they're taking that out.
Okay, they're taking it out completely? I mean,
Well, they're taking that ramp out to the right, it's going to be going.
oh, okay,
That's the start of what is Phase 2 of the Route 1 expansion.
okay.
So it's just demo work. Actually, no, is it Phase 1 or Phase 2?
I don't know, but they
But
stripped
yeah.
that center because they're going to make a ramp going left,
Are
it's
they-
swinging all the way
All they're
around.
doing
Are they
is
getting
so
rid of the
that-
lumber that's sitting up there? Are they planning on getting rid of that? or do
They're
we
gonna have to because they've got to plow the whole land.
Okay,
So.
Yeah, the whole thing's gonna be-
It's probably just in the middle of when they can work because of the weather right now.
okay. All right, that's all I have tonight, thank you.
Okay,
Enjoy
thank
your
you.
party.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wants to have any public comment? Okay, seeing no one come forward, we'll close public comment. Okay, is there other business? Mr. Gantz, you have anything? Deb, you okay? Okay, Lauren Gallagher, do you have anything? Okay, and Mr. Pizzo?
Nothing further this evening, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sloan, do you have anything?
I wanted to know if we can get a status update on the flooding situation at State Road. We met out there, about a month ago. I know there was a kind of a short-term plan to replace that length of pipe that goes out to the river. Mr. Mayor, do you have an update on that for us?
Yeah. I don't have it written, I'm going to give you a verbal. Working with the Columbus Country Club, PennDOT is giving us the pipe to run through there, as they said they would. They're working with their attorney right now, the Columbus Country Club, with our people to make sure that everything is legal, they can go through their property. Our plan is for them to actually put the pipe in, to get a contractor, get 3 bids, show us the bids. If we okay the bids, they will then put the pipe in, their own
PennDOT
property,
or the?
and we will reimburse them
PennDOT's
for the
not-
cost.
PennDOT's just supplying the pipe.
Pipe.
And
That's
the
all
country
PennDOT's
club will
doing.
do the work.
Who's doing the Columbus Country Club's having someone do the work?
They'll contract out. it sounds
We
like.
will have them get 3 bids.
When you say them, you mean
The Columbus Country Club.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. That's
They
all
will
clear.
get the 3 bids, show them to the township, make sure everything is in order.
I understand. I just
The
want to clarify it was
contractors
Columbus
are
Country
good
Club. That's all right.
contractors.
Thank you.
And of that lowest bid, then they will put in the pipe and be reimbursed from the township. We will reimburse them for the cost.
And that'll be out of the money we budgeted to help with the
That's out
flooding
of
down there.
the money that put in the budget for
Right, okay,
for there.
all right.
Okay.
And long-term, working with PennDOT, it's tough. That's all I can say to you. We're working with them on a bi-weekly, every 2 weeks, we're back with them. Senator Thomason and Gene DeGirolamo, Representative DeGirolamo, we're working with them to try to get the long-term plan. We keep hearing it's 2.5 to 5 years plans, but hopefully we're expediting that on the long term, and at least to get a plan in place
Sure.
so that it can be done. And we're going to help work on that plan
Okay.
so that we can expedite this to get this thing moving.
So we should have some idea of a long-term plan by, say, the summer? I guess that's kind of the question.
I would pray so, but I'm not going to give you that
Right.
straight-up answer with
All right, so
PennDOT. I
maybe
have
we'll
no
kind
control.
of bring this up on a, roughly quarterly basis, just to
Yeah,
make sure
absolutely.
it keeps moving
Yep.
forward.
It all depends on PennDOT.
Sure,
You're
absolutely.
dealing with government.
And it is very, very important to all of us for the
No, we
future
just
of
want to
that
make sure that we're
state
keeping
road
the public
corridor.
apprised as this goes on.
So we'll continually work on that.
Mayor, how about any of the, like, for lack of a better word, like the other, hold on, I'm sorry. Are there ditches that are also clogged, for lack of a better
There's
word?
a ditch that has to be cleaned out also.
Right? And is that being done
And
too?
working on that, yeah.
Okay, so-
And if there's a problem up there by that one end up there,
Right,
a lot of water is laying there right now.
yeah.
And they really can't get a backhoe or anything in there to clean that ditch, but that also has to be cleaned
That
out.
has to be cleaned out, yeah.
I
'cause
think between that and that pipe itself is to
Yeah,
make a
between the pipe
substantial
and the ditch is
difference.
going to be
Yeah, I
a
think
big
that's a
improvement.
good
As far as cleaning
short-term
it up.
goal to get those
And the
two.
pipe should be there this week.
The pipe should be delivered this week, okay.
Okay, is there anything else?
Yes, thank goodness we put it into the budget.
Yeah, thank God.
I just want to send my condolences to the family of Mr. Burns, Bensalem's first mayor. He passed away about a week or two ago. So condolences to the family, and we're all very sorry for the loss.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Takmasian, anything?
Just to go back to the State Road project, it's great that we're doing everything we can to assist with that. Are we holding the country club to an ETA for the estimates? How long will it take the country club to provide the estimates to us?
Oh, I would
Do
say
we know?
we're going to have that within a couple of weeks. They're going to notify contractors, good contractors. They know what they have to know. We're not just...
The township is keeping pressure on with both the country club and with PennDOT. So as the mayor said, every 2 weeks, we're back with PennDOT to keep the pressure on, and the same with, and again, Columbus Country Club benefits from this, so,
Yeah,
you know,
Yep. Sure.
I mean, we can only push them so much, but, you know, we've met with them twice in the last 2 weeks to go over the details of how things are going to be worked out. They've now taken that to their lawyer, and as soon as they get back to us with that, we're ready to roll.
Understood.
I think the fact that you got the country club to actually do the work is pretty darn
Well, it
smart.
takes us out of the liability
Exactly.
of going on private property.
Got it, okay.
Township can't go on
Exactly.
everybody's
Gets it
property
moved right along.
and do anything.
And the reason why I'm asking, Mr. Pizzo, and maybe this question would be more pointed towards you anyway. Let's assume it takes 6 to 12 months for that project to be completed. There very well could be developers that come in front of us to develop property that lies within an area, and let's just say a half mile to a mile of that project. My concern, and if there's no variances or anything that's being requested along those land development plans, I certainly don't want to exacerbate the problem down there in the meantime while this project is going on. And I agree with Mr. Kisselbeck. I think it's going to help mitigate a lot of the issues down there. With that said, and it's just an idea to throw out there as far as maybe creating a moratorium from an area that lies a half mile to a mile north or south of that area of excluding or avoiding any development of any property along that site until that project is at least completed to ensure that we don't see anything that would create additional problems down there. And I think Waterside would probably lie within that area. However, we could grandfather that property, still allowing them to proceed with construction.
We can just not accept any projects.
I don't know if we could do that or not.
A couple of things. A moratorium on building, a moratorium against land development is something that gets kicked around every so often for any variety of reasons, but it's not something that township really has as a weapon in its arsenal for this problem or for others. We can't really place a moratorium against building as much as there are times when it feels as if, that would certainly be the logical way to address things. But private property owners do have rights, and among, again, the tools that the township has at the ready, a moratorium against approving land developments isn't one of them. Insofar as the more immediate issue of the drainage in that area immediately adjacent to Columbus Country Club, first and foremost, the work the mayor's been describing is work to repair an existing part of the infrastructure for that section of State Road that has fallen into disrepair. And the hope is that as quickly as we can get it repaired, it will help to alleviate the flooding in that immediate area. But to that same end, the Columbus Country Club right now falls within the envelope of the development that was approved and technically is still on the books for, I forget the name of the developer now. Strategic. So the Columbus Country Club is actually a part of the stormwater management plan that was approved for Strategic Realty. If tomorrow Strategic were to come into the township, having done everything it needed to do to move forward with its approved plan, that property would be part of the fix, because the approval of the strategic plan included the wholesale rebuild of all of that section of Street Road that fronts the country
State.
club,
Yeah.
all the way down to Street and State. And so, thirdly, as a corollary to that, when you as an elected body are asked to review and approve land development plans in general, the standard is always that the stormwater runoff coming off of the property post-development has to be less than the stormwater runoff coming off of the property pre-development. So by definition, anytime you approve a land development in that area, it should, if everything has been engineered properly, everything has been reviewed properly, it should lessen the amount of stormwater coming off of a property and thereby alleviate some of the problem that's being experienced down there. You always have at the ready, as an elected body, the ability to, I don't know if negotiate is the right word, but it's the word I'll use, negotiate with the developers of these various parcels when they come in, to get them to help to contribute at times in excess and beyond perhaps what they're otherwise legally required to do to address these problems. Waterside agreed to do that. Strategic agreed to do that. In both cases, recognizing that there are problems down there that need to be addressed, and it is only to the benefit of their properties, of their potential residents, that traffic issues, stormwater issues, or the like be addressed as part of the stormwater or the overall land development approval process. So I don't know if that answered your question, but
It does.
the process, particularly for this area where there is a bright spotlight shining on the issue right now, the process as it moves forward should, in any way that anything is being done, helpfully alleviate rather than exacerbate the problems that are being experienced down there.
Got it. Okay. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you very much for the update, and certainly appreciate staying on top of the project. And then just two other quick things. My condolences as well to the Burns family, Mayor Burns. And the second item, I just wanted to reiterate, it is Unity Week next week, and it's just a great opportunity for everyone to come out and celebrate the diversity of Bensalem. That's all I had. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Polari?
The one thing, the other thing they have going on down there, Mayor, American Drive, they're cleaning out that stream, so that's going to alleviate some of the water problems down there too. I know you have them working on that. Thank you for keeping up on that. I appreciate that. Again, we lost a good guy in Ed Burns. I give my condolences to the family, and he was a nice guy, an easy guy to work with, and he will be missed. My Flyers are disappointing me. The Eagles are done. I can only hope that the Phillies are going to do something better.
Bryce Harper, maybe.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, Mr. Kisselback?
I'll go for Machado instead.
I'll take
All right,
Bryce. Okay.
Bryce, right? Okay, all right. My condolences to the Burns family. When Ed Burns was asked to run for mayor, he was our state representative. Well, he was a school teacher and a state representative. He was also in the Navy, reservist. I think he was a warrant officer, I believe. And he was asked to run for mayor, and he was somewhat perplexed because he said, everybody loves me now. I'm a state representative, and I've become mayor. Everybody's going to hate me. But that never came to be true because he did a wonderful job. And then the mayor worked hand in hand with him when he was not an elected official, but had quite a few things accomplished together. So my condolences to the Burns family. And I was just talking to Denny O'Brien just a couple of days ago, and he asked me for his telephone number. Unfortunately, I couldn't track it down, but he was Denny Burns was a state representative and leader of the House, would it be, Chairman?
Yeah.
And so he was very, very close to him because they used to travel back and forth to Harrisburg together. So we'll miss really a gentleman of a politician, a real gentleman himself. So it's someone we could always look, if we knew him, someone we could look up to. And he was tall, so you could certainly look up to him, but he was really a great individual. So I want to say that. Ed touched base on the week itself, starting with Martin Luther King Day, I guess it is, that'd be correct. And there's quite a few different activities. It started with maybe 2 or 3 a week. Now it's almost like 2 or 3 a day. So you can make 1 or 2, you don't have to make them all, but they're really interesting to seeing the different, the different diversity that we have and the different religions and the customs that are actually here right in Bensalem. It's pretty amazing. If you haven't gone there, you should definitely try to make some of them. And so with that, I'd like to sign off and turn it over to our president.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I would like to also, I appreciate Jesse bringing it up, is send my condolences to the Burns family. His services, I think, are Thursday, and I went to play baseball with his sons at Ramblers, and I've known him, the family most of my life, and I always thought the state rep had a 20-year term. I didn't know you actually ran every 2 years when I was a kid, because he was always the state rep when I was growing up. There was nobody else. But it was very interesting to find out he was in the Navy Reserves all those years. Jesse was in the Navy too, and so was Ed. Were you in the Navy, right? Yeah. And then it was very interesting, and he was a swim coach, and he taught at Chamonix High School before he was even became a state rep. So he had quite a career, and very a real gentleman. We condolences to him, and we'll try to make his services on Thursday. Also, the Diversity Week for Build a Better Bensalem, I would reiterate, is a great week. I try to make as many events as I can. It's very, very interesting, the various houses of worship that you're able to go to that are open to the public. Some of them serve pretty good food. I would suggest that if you're going to the mosque or the Hindu place, wear a good pair of socks, okay, to make sure your socks are good, because you have to take off your shoes when you enter. So, but they have, it's well worth it because they give you a good lunch at the end. So it's a nice event. I think it wounds up at, we won't, unfortunately, we won't be doing Mother Catherine Drexel's chapel anymore, but we will do, and I think one of the last places is St. Ephraim's at the end of the week.
Right.
So keep an eye on it. Check our website, or Build a Better Bensalem, and try to make it to as many events as you can. It's really worth it. Really a good thing for the community. Okay,
May
with
I
that.
add one anecdotal story, if I may?
Yes.
Sunday morning, I was not shoveling, but sweeping off the snow, and the gentleman who delivers our newspaper said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm delivering the paper a little bit late." It was about 9 o'clock. I said, "That's all right." He said, "Well," he said, "because I delivered the paper first in Levittown," I'm only quoting him, "Levittown and Bristol, and the streets were horrible. I was slipping and sliding all over the place." He said, "I got to Bensalem, and everything was clean." So I want to give that lauded to our department, our road department.
I'll second
Mayor and
that.
administration. So, and I told him, my response was, "Well, maybe next time you should start in Bensalem."
Yeah, they have
Mr. President,
we
I
cleaned the
still have
streets,
a
and I
pulse.
tipped the guy.
I still have a pulse. May I say anything? or-
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about you. I'm sorry. This was a council meeting. I forgot about the mayor. I'm sorry. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, because I
without
only
further
interrupted.
ado-
I wouldn't interrupt you, but
I'm sorry.
I worked many, many, many years with Ed Burns. Besides being a dear friend, we worked very close on a lot of things from the days when he was a state rep. And unfortunately, he passed away and has given so much service. As you talk about a public servant, Jesse, you retired from the Navy, I believe, as he did. He didn't retire. He did, but he put many, many, many years in there in the Navy, and certainly as a school teacher and all the years in the House of Rep. I worked very closely with Ed in the township when he became mayor. I started the Economic Development Corporation here that he graciously gave us opportunities to use, and he believed in people. He trusted people, and he worked very hard for everyone. I don't know how many of you know, but Ed had some very tough times too. He lost 2 sons. So it's been the last few years was a rough road for Ed. I can't tell you how much he meant to me in what we call the political arena. I don't consider myself a politician, but he was straight, he was honest, and I think he was what we call a lot of times a real mensch. He was a real gentleman, as Ed had said, a gentleman, and Bensalem lost a great patriot, and he'll be well missed. And to his son and his wife Joan, my condolences, certainly as all of us did here tonight. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Okay, do we have a motion to disperse?
I'll second it.
Second. Okay, thank you.